Kia ora koutou, Markie here. I'm in my mobile studio still. There's a mark on my windscreen there. That's no good, is it? Spoiling the view. But in a slightly different location, because it occurred to me where I was shooting before, lots of people were walking past and it was filming them as well, and I kind of felt a bit uncomfortable about kind of invading people's privacy really through doing that. So hopefully you'll enjoy the view just as much. We're a little bit higher up. I am compromising the privacy of a bunch of seagulls. That's kind of unavoidable, but I guess they all add to the video. Let's give you a close-up of, I mean, gulls aren't very exciting, are they? Because they're all over the world, you get gulls, but give you a little closer look at them. You can see the rocks in a little bit more detail. Some of the waves. So, welcome back if you are a regular on this channel, and thank you if you're a subscriber. And if you're not a subscriber, it's completely free to become a subscriber. Please do so. It really helps us, and it helps other people as well in ways that I have described before. I won't go into today. So I want to return to a video that I did not so long ago about essentially how not to get yourself saddled with a bad one, an abusive or a useless or just an unpleasant partner. And I realised I missed a bit off, as I often do. This is an ADHD friendly channel. This channel is brought to you by the letters ADHD. So I missed so what I talked about in that other video, I broke down attraction to partners into 3 factors, but I also hinted that there was a kind of a 4th factor that I wanted to just touch on, and I didn't touch on it. I kind of got completely distracted and then realized afterwards that I hadn't talked about the mysterious 4th factor. So today is the video for the 4th factor. So you can break down attraction into any number of factors, you know, because all these things are complex. So you could break it into an infinite amount. I just chose to break it down into 3 because that was a useful way to look at it. And I think that's a good approach to anything where you're using a model. So the map is not the territory. The model is a tool, really, just to help you understand something or make sense of something or enable you to discuss something. It's a little bit pixelated, isn't it, that picture? So I broke it into 3, and those 3 were, well, I should ask you, shouldn't I? I should put you to the test, see if you've been listening. Can you remember what they were? There were 3 factors that I talked about. So if you pause now and list those 3 factors, you'll get huge amounts of brownie points if you put them in the comments. But just in case you're new to the channel, we'll go through them again. But obviously, if you're watching this video and you haven't watched the previous video, this won't make a whole lot of sense. You have to watch the previous one. So I broke it down into appearance, which includes a whole range of things. Status, which isn't necessarily what you think it is. Have a watch of the previous video to see what I mean by status. And I called it decency. You could call it personality, but the positive aspects of personality, what that person is at their core, really. And we're looking at, are they a kind person? Are they somebody that's got empathy? Are they somebody that can give as well as take? Because not everybody can. Lots of people out there can take very nicely, and they can charm and schmooze and impress you, but they they don't necessarily give. And you want to spend the rest of your life, in a committed relationship. Maybe introduce children into the world, blend your genes with somebody that can't give. Not a good idea. So those were the 3, just to do a quick recap, and then I hinted at a 4th, and the 4th one is what I'm going to call familiarity. Okay, so we are often attracted to people because there is a sense of familiarity about their characteristics. And this is often a bad thing. Okay, so we often, I'm supporting this phone on my elbows, and my elbows are getting sore, so I'm going to have to rearrange myself a little bit here. Shaky camera, As I said in many other videos, you don't get slick, you don't get any kind of style in this channel, you just get pure content. So we like, maybe like's too simplistic a word, but we draw to and we stick with what is familiar, even if it's shite. That is part of the nature of human beings. Doesn't mean that we're stupid or bad or wrong. It just means that we're human. That's what human beings do. So if we are familiar with something, if something seems familiar, we will draw to it. And if someone has familiar traits, we will often draw to them. And often, when I say familiar to what? Familiar, often we marry our parents. Looking at it in just a heteronormative way, we might be attracted to, if we're male, we might be attracted to someone that reminds us, that has the traits of our mother, and if we're female, we might be attracted to someone who has the traits of our father. Or it could cross, it could be both. It could be about both parents. It's not like a simple, straightforward thing. It's many permutations. So this is one of the reasons, I've talked about this in other videos, why people often have a series of abusive relationships. It's not because they wake up in the morning and they think, I need a new partner that's abusive. It's because they draw to what's familiar. And often people who are in abusive relationships have had an abusive parent. That's very common. And then like a formative romantic relationship or intimate relationship with somebody that's abusive, and then that kind of almost sets the pattern or the template for all the other relationships. So I just wanted to add a little warning, really, something else to be aware of. I mean, I think that formula that I gave in the previous video is pretty good. It's pretty good, but I think I just wanted to add the extra warning that there will be within you, or there is very likely to be within you, an unconscious tendency to recreate your past through what's familiar. And you won't be, like I say, it's unconscious, so it's not something you're aware that you're doing. It always kind of tickles me when you talk about people and their unconscious patterns, and they say, oh no, I don't do that. Well, if it's unconscious, you wouldn't know whether you do it or not. So the very fact that it's unconscious means that it's a possibility. You can't rule out, nobody can really rule out, a possible unconscious pattern, because it's unconscious. But people still make that argument. So another thing to be aware of, what's familiar, what's normal, might give you a sense of, safety. I think we draw to it, but actually it's a false sense of safety, because we can stay with what's dangerous and we can stay with what's bad. It's like it can happen in a whole range of things. It's like if we grow up poor, that can become familiar, and we'll on an unconscious level will behave and do things in a way that will keep us poor, will make us poorer, because that's what we're used to. So this is one of the reasons why, in some cases, making personal change can be really hard, because it's unconscious stuff. It's not stuff that we're even aware of. So the first step is to become aware of it, and then the second step is to look at how you're going to change that. And it can take a lot of time, and sometimes it takes the help of a therapist to walk you through, to walk alongside you while you do that. So just be aware, because I want you to be safe. I want you to be happy. I want you to be in relationships that are mutually rewarding, mutually beneficial, mutually caring, mutually supportive, because you deserve that. You should not have to tolerate being in a relationship with somebody that is taking and not giving, because that's never good. And you might have grown up with that. You might have grown up with the parents that took from you rather than giving, but it doesn't mean that you have to tolerate that now. So always go for or in other words, always when you're contemplating a relationship, never compromise on the decency of the person, and don't be swayed by things like familiarity and the three factors that we talked about in the other video. So I hope that makes sense. and I will be back in another video, which could be about almost anything, even though this is a retroactive jealousy channel. We talk about all sorts. I posted one this morning about a weird shape that formed itself in my shed overnight, and that was just a bit of fun, really. But all the videos, just watching these videos, especially if you watch them all the way through, helps YouTube promote this channel and helps them promote all the videos, including the retroactive jealousy videos. So the more you watch even stuff like this, or even stuff like the stupid thing I posted this morning with the weird shape in the garage, in the shed, it all helps us get free life-saving information out to people who suffer with retroactive jealousy. And if you want to know what retroactive jealousy is, we've got loads of videos on it. Check out the playlist. So enough of that. Thank you for watching. I look forward to seeing you in the next one. Have a good day or evening or nighttime, and we'll see you soon. Rangimarie.